Happy Thursday. How is everybody today? I hope it's been a great week, great month. Hope you're enjoying the time change. I absolutely hate it, but maybe some of you guys like it. I have no idea. I don't know why anybody would, but maybe you do. Hope everybody is doing great tonight. Sammy Jane is in the house. Hello, hello. Lynn, good evening to you. Hope you were doing well. Sherry, hey, missed you, Victor. Glad to see you live. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. So I've been trying to get this keto for beginners series done because I've had a lot of emails about that. And I felt like that I needed to do that series. So hopefully if you've been watching that, it's helpful to you. It's probably got 4 or 5 more parts, honestly. And I'm rolling it all into like a, don't want to say the Southern Keto diet, but it's going to be implementing some of my recipes and stuff at the end. Right now, we're kind of in the basics and what I think would work the best for most people. And so after that, I'm going to get back to doing more of these lives, but I felt like that'd be a good, foundational type thing to do and a good refresher for some of us, that have been doing it for a while. So hope that has been helpful for everybody. Hey, Joanna up in Maine. Hope the weather's great up there. Rockin' Keto Amy is in the house tonight. Hey, Lynn, Sherry, and Victor. Stephanie is in the house too, joining from Grandview, Washington. How is the weather out there? We've got some crazy storms coming this weekend, so hopefully I'll have some good news after that, and then the power's not out again, but we shall see. Jesus save me. Hello, everyone. Hey, Donna. Paula, I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad you could catch me live too. So it's kind of hard when you don't do this every single week, just because that other series or whatever. But I'm glad a lot of you saw that I was on here and joined in. So that is awesome. Wilkes County. Hey there, Jane. How you doing? And good evening to you, Kathy, from Middle Georgia. So you are not close. You're not far from me. We're pretty close neighbors here. I'm up in South Carolina, if y'all don't know. Mix of rain and sun with the March winds. Yes. Will from Rome. He is probably the closest in here to me that I know of so far. Rome is real close to me. So Carl's here down in South Georgia. So I've been camping for we took a little camping trip for 3 days, and first 2 days it rained. So it was cool to get to hang out and relax a little bit. But we got rained out a little, so we did some cooking inside instead of cooking outside. I love grilling out there. And I did do some country fried steak the first night up under the awning, and got a little grill that pulls out from there. So that was interesting, but it turned out really good. So I'll probably post some pictures of that in the next day or two in the group or on YouTube or whatever. So let's see. Stan the man. Our family loves your videos. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate you watching. And I'm glad that your family loves everything. So we got some good keto news this week. I'm going to see if I can pull this up here. So the first little bit right here, the keto diet leads to health benefits in bipolar patients. So these are some really good studies here. I know a lot of the studies, particularly that nurses and doctors studies, that they keep coming out with crazy stuff. If you saw my short yesterday about the replacing butter with seed oils, it's just the craziest thing in the world. They're using data from 30, 40 years ago. They're expecting people to remember what they ate. They're giving them questionnaires every 4 years to fill out of what they ate the last 4 years. I mean, it's just, you call it science. I don't really call that science. I mean, maybe one day they'll be able to do some studies, have some real results that are more meaningful than that, other than just scare tactics. But there's reasons for those. So, which I explained a little of my conspiracy theory anyway on that short. But some really good results in the bipolar patients. So that was some really good news. Now I've lost my screen. There we go. Oh, you can see me and the story over there. That's cool. I didn't know how that would look. So learn something every day. Some of this stuff you just got to play around with, because I'm not that technologically savvy. So a lot of times I just have to figure it out as I go. So I'm glad that worked like it was supposed to. Some other news here. And there was a lot of good stuff that came out this week. Some studies being done that are really, really meaningful and really, really helpful to a lot of us. So this one right here, got all the pop-ups going on. Calorie restricted keto diets may reduce biological age and multiple sclerosis. So there's a lot of good studies being done in all types of different neurological conditions and just any kind of conditions in general. Inflammatory conditions, just, all across the board. There's studies showing now that we're doing the right thing. So, so I'm really loving seeing all those come out. And then here's another one that was pretty cool. Well, if I can find it. There we go. All right, let me go through a few more comments. I'll pull that next one up. Xtina, hello. My primary doctor told me last year he was not against keto, but I needed some carbs. What are some? Well, I would tend to agree with them. I know a lot of people say you don't need carbs and that, the vegetables they're no good for you or whatever. I tend to think that you really do need some carbs, and the carbs that I like most are the non-starchy vegetables because of the fiber, especially leafy green, spring mix. If you're worried about oxalates, something like spring mix or romaine lettuce are the lowest ones. If you're not worried about it, like I'm not, I do some spinach. So those are really good. And a couple cups of that a day really helps your satiety signals, helps you feel full. And, my opinion of this is that the fiber actually does help your gut microbiome. And a lot of that I got from the herbalism side and a lot of vegans and vegetarians. And, although they don't eat the meat, a lot of the science is sound about fiber. And, Dr. Berry says there's no amount of fiber that you have to have. And, studies have shown there's also no studies that have shown that you don't need some. So it's just that some of the science is just still up in the air, and hopefully we'll have answers to. And I always try to follow closely what's going on because, for myself, and I feel like I have a responsibility with this channel that, I want to try to give you the best information that I possibly can. So I try to stay on top of all those things. And if anything changes, I'm going to let you know. If the seed oils are better for you than butter study was legit, then, I would have started looking into that more, but it just was not, in my opinion. So that is my opinion. There's no medical advice here. I'm not a doctor. I am a holistic health practitioner, master herbalist. So, but I am not an MD. So I don't have those letters behind my name. So don't take any medical advice, without consulting your doctor. So there's my disclaimer for the night. My doctor told me you need carbs to live. Well, that has been proven to not be true by a lot of carnivores. I mean, if that were the case, and of course, you got gluconeogenesis is going to turn some proteins into sugars and things like that. But as far as the ingestion of carbs, just anybody that's doing a lion diet or a super clean carnivore diet is evidence that that doesn't happen, or they'd be dropping every single day. So saw that. What a bunch of lies about big money and big pharma. And that's something that I have done. The videos never do well, and it may or may not be because they don't get shown as much as some things. But I try to do a lot of research on these things, especially when these studies come out that are trying to disprove something I believe in. Because, as I said, if there's great evidence in there and it's a real study that's done with, a real double-blind, whatever the case is, not somebody filling out a food questionnaire for 4 years trying to tell, someone what they ate for the last 4 years. That study was all nurses anyway. So, it's a totally different type of science than what I like to believe in. And the fact that it comes from that school is even more evidence, because I've done videos on 2 or 3 other studies, and they keep coming back to this same study as their evidence. And, I mean, it's pretty simple to follow the money. When you have huge donors paying for these things, training the doctors, the big pharmaceutical companies are paying into these schools, and that's how the doctors are getting trained. It is what it is. And you can kind of, even if you don't want to go down that total rabbit hole, just the general overview of the money being made is probably enough. What are you using? Oh, this is this is StreamYard, and so I'm not going to stay on StreamYard very long, but at the same time, I haven't switched over to. Oh, matter of fact, Dustin just dropped in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Dustin. I was going to say Dustin has switched over to a different program, one that I'm going to get on also. I just haven't had time with our out of town trip, and this is kind of my busy season, so it's going to be busy. It's going to be interesting, but I'm going to try to get as much stuff out there as I possibly can. And Dustin says, just dropping some love, trying to listen at Costco. And if y'all do not subscribe to Dustin, that's my buddy. That's part of the trifecta of the Keto Crusades. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to his channel too. He's got some great information. He does a lot of the things, kind of bringing up things just like I talked about with like hidden ingredients. And I don't think he's calling out some of these people like I have been that I might get in trouble for. But anyway, great information. He's got some good recipes too. So make sure you give him a follow down there. Trying to listen at Costco. Well, I hope you find some great deals there. I wish I had a Costco closer to me, but the closest one's about 45 minutes away. So I just stick with Sam's and roll on. So yeah, the screen share thing it's pretty easy on here, but you got to kind of got to get ahead of it. You got to front load it and have some tabs pulled up or have a bunch of slides ready. And I'm kind of like, off the cuff type person. So I tried to get up here a few minutes earlier and bring up some of these news stories that I thought were really good for our community and kind of reinforce the things that we all know. And it's always good when that happens. So, but Dustin, thank you for that super chat too. Yes, green veggies, absolutely. Sorry if I'm not chatting much. Pre-making pizzas for a pizza party tomorrow. My sister is on her way to Indiana from Vegas. Well, awesome. Well, that'll be a great visit, hopefully, and hopefully you have some good pizzas there. Sounds good. Asparagus, broccoli, kale, absolutely. Organic spring mix from Walmart's really good. There's a lot of variety of greens in there. Yes, and I like the one from Aldi too. It's an organic one, and which I do like. If you're going to do that, the difference in price in the non-organic and the organic is not very much when you're talking about greens. So it's worth the extra 50 cents or whatever. Go ahead and get the organic. It's not supposed to be sprayed with anything, and more nutrient dense. The soil's better in most cases. Although there are things going on in the organic thing that we'll be looking at over the next few years too, of leniency that has kind of crept in over the last couple of years or so. But that may be tightened up pretty soon. But the organic's always, definitely, if you can afford it, it's always better if you're talking vegetables, berries especially, because berries are one of the most sprayed things that you can find to eat. And so if you can get the organic and the berries too, they're not much more. And especially when they're in season, you can buy a bunch and freeze some if you want. So I agree. There's a lot of good greens in there. The other thing about Aldi, though, sometimes their produce is a little bit suspect. Like you'll buy a big thing of spring mix, and I always try to like reach back a little bit because I know they rotate everything forward, or at least they're supposed to bring the oldest stuff to the front, put the stuff that's going to last longer in the back. And sometimes I'll grab that, and then 2 days later, it's just it's a little wet in there, and should probably take it out and use a salad spinner and throw it back in there. But again, I'm kind of spur of the moment. I just kind of I like to grab it and go. So, but yeah, sometimes all these produce is a little suspect, but I like getting that too. But yeah, both of those are good. So everybody does have a different opinion on fiber, for sure. You're welcome. Yeah. So Dustin, EV Mux is the streaming program that he's using that I want to jump on too, because Dustin's like great with all the, like he gets me fired up every time for the Keto Crusades. He's got the music going on. It's like the Avengers, movie or something. I'm getting like, yeah, getting fired up. And he's got all the graphics and stuff down. I'm trying. I'm trying my best, but I think he can help me with some of that stuff too, and set it up a little bit. Xtina says hello to Dustin. Oh, there you are. Asking me today if I was going to be on here, and then you're late. So you might just have to watch it in double speed and have me sound like a chipmunk for a little bit. But we're pretty much just saying hello. I did a few keto headlines that was pretty good news for the week. So I got a couple more of those to do too. Costco's favorite customer, Keto Simple. Yes. Thank you so much. $3 super sticker. Hey, I'm telling you, y'all don't know how much this stuff adds up. It is so awesome that y'all do this for me, and just buying ingredients, all that kind of stuff, trying to upgrade equipment and pay for the streaming platforms and stuff, which this one I'm not paying for. That's why you can probably see the little duck up there somewhere powered by StreamYard or whatever. Because Dustin was kind of talking about getting away from this and this platform. And so I want to see what he was trying out, because it's a lot easier if we're kind of all on the same page with things like that, especially for our, our Keto Crusades, which we've got another one coming up in about 10 days. So the 23rd, I believe, unless something changes, I think we kind of halfway nailed that down between the three of us. So I think that's going to be on the 23rd. So really exciting. We're going to talk about some really good things that are happening in the keto community right now in that live. So I hope y'all don't miss that. We usually do those at 8 o'clock on the Sunday nights, and that one should be on the 23rd. So Stan, yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I just try to dig into some of this stuff and just, in my simple mind, just try to break it down as much as I can, just with common sense, really. Because you can read in, they can put a lot of filler words in there that make it hard to understand. But once you get down to the core of it and you learn how to read the studies and things, it's really not as bad as what they try to make it sound. Once you really break it down, then you can see what's a bunch of BS. A lot of this stuff is. Hear a lot. Oh, wow. 5 within a 45-minute radius. Well, yeah, your city is a little bigger than mine, Dustin. I think Indianapolis has got us beat by millions of people, I would say. So 6 dozen eggs. Yeah, what are egg prices up there now anyway? Howdy. How are you? Hey there, Carol. How are you doing? Do you have a good corn tortilla recipe? Expensive online? I don't yet. I've got a couple things I've been working on. One with my keto flour, but like I said, this is kind of a tough time for me with my job. For those of you that don't know, I've got a pressure washing business, and this is when it's wide open. So I try to do as much as I can during these times of the year, but this is really going into my busy time. And then I start winding down around September, October. And that's how I've kind of done like 3 videos a week, or at least tried to, for quite a while. And so maybe me being busier here will give some of y'all a chance to catch up and get a break from me for a little bit. So that could be a good thing. But yeah, I am trying to work on something like that. Just finding the time right now is a little bit. But I also did the it's basically like the 2-ingredient flatbread, but I did the noodles out of it. In that two ingredient fettuccine Alfredo video I did, and I put some corn extract in there, and it seems to work fine. It's not, it's a little different texture than what your tortillas are, so that's why I want to come up with something with the flour. But it is something I'll be working on. Wish we had an Aldi's here. Yeah, for real. You should move if you don't. Should move. But Aldi's my favorite grocery store, and then second's Walmart. So I can usually find pretty much everything I need on, one of the 2 places anyway. Some places I have to go to Ingles, Food Lion. I get my beef fat trimmings now from Food Lion, and Ingles too. So I've got those 2 kind of locked up. One's Food Lion is more expensive than Ingles, but I can still get them, pretty cheap. So some burger joint is switching to beef tallow. Yeah, I think a Steak and Shake, if I remember correctly. I think they just announced that they were going to it. So yeah, a lot of them are going to beef tallow, and of course, with that, it's going to come, well, what kind of beef tallow is it? Is it pure beef tallow? Is it beef tallow that's got some extra ingredients in it, which a lot of them do just to keep it stable? Because, if you think some of the stuff that's cooked in beef tallow now is expensive, if they didn't have a way to preserve the stuff to where they had to replace it every 2 or 3 uses, it'd be super expensive. So a lot of them are going to have that in there, but it is still 100 times better than seed oils. So, and hopefully you're not eating many fries anyway. So, but, whatever's cooked in beef tallow, just know it's probably not going to be pure beef tallow, or, or the fries that you would buy are going to be $20, because they have to change it out every couple of times they use it. But, let's see, our Aldi's 45 minutes away and Sam's is an hour away. Yeah, and it may be, a lot of the things at Aldi, you can go, I used to a long, long time ago when we didn't have a Whole Foods here. And this is before now they don't let me in Whole Foods anymore. But back then there was a lot of things that you couldn't get at any of our local grocery stores, because it was like all standard American diet stuff, all Southern stuff. If, there was no organic anything, there was nothing. And so I would go to Whole Foods, which is about 35, 40 minutes away, depending on traffic, and get some things. And a lot of the stuff I'd bring back and freeze, or I'd just try to buy enough for the whole week of the stuff that I couldn't get anywhere else. Because even then it was more expensive. Now it's like ridiculously expensive, unless they've changed something in the last, I haven't been in one in a year and a half, probably. Just recently purchased mini waffle maker, made my first chaffles. Awesome. Well, I hope you enjoyed them. I got one of my comments of the week or month or whatever. Since it's been about a month since I've been on here. One of those is about those chaffles and what somebody thought about those. So I hope you enjoyed them. I think they've been a hit, and we definitely enjoy them. So, and Michael, hello, windy and rainy in Arizona. Hope everybody's doing well today. And Donna is in the house. Y'all say hey to Donna. Donna is my moderator. So if I get any trolls in here from a famous university for me talking about them in that short yesterday, Donna can escort them out. Kindly, of course. And Donna's awesome. Donna's the one, if y'all saw my vanilla extract thing, she walked me through her whole process on vanilla extracts. I made a lot of herbal extracts over the years, and vanilla is a little different. And the amount of precision to really get a pure vanilla extract and not just some vanilla flavor extracted into some liquor, to get the real deal that tastes great the way it's supposed to and better than what you can buy in the store is an art form. And so she taught me that too. So if y'all have made any vanilla along with me, then you got her to thank for that. So I got 3-4 bottles now that are waiting for close to Thanksgiving or Christmas this year for me to pull those out and use them. So feed salad to bunny rabbits. Yeah, you could. Hello. I live in a rural area. How about 5 Aldis nearby? The closest is about 4 miles country driving. Yeah, and I kind of do too. I've only got 2 that are real close to me. 3 now. They just built one a town over because we went camping there in that next town over, and I saw they had just built one. What we've got everywhere is Dollar Generals, and Dollar Trees are trying to catch up too. But I mean, they'll throw a Dollar General up in a minute. It'll be forests for miles, and then you drive by the next week and there's a Dollar General sitting there. So they pop those up everywhere. Everybody's saying hello. Thank you. I was wondering about that. I kind of gathered what you were getting at though. Made my first chaffle, your latest soft one, and it was fabulous. Thank you. You are very welcome. Powerful Money Habits. I just discovered your channel. Love it. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here. And I need to check your channel out because I need some powerful money habits. That's for sure. So I'm going to check that out in a little bit. Let's see. Have you joined the Facebook group? Yeah, that Facebook group is linked down. We've got a private Facebook group. And there's a lot of us that are in here that are in there. And that's a place where, because unfortunately on YouTube, you can't post, like if you make a really good recipe that you love, you can't post a picture of it. You can't tell, you can't go on. There's no good place yet that's a community. Now YouTube is working on that. And I may eventually take everything over there if it's set up the way that I like it, which is like that Facebook group is where, certain people can moderate it. It'll be a lot more because anybody can get into that. I believe if they just click join the community, they can get in. Where this one, I have to look through and make sure they're not spammers. And me and my wife usually go through and just, check out everybody, just make sure they don't look scamish before we let them in. But it's just a place where you can go share not just my recipes, although a lot of people do. So that's a good place to go if you think about trying out a recipe. You can go in there and somebody else has probably already tried it out. And so you can get good feedback about that. Other than me, I try to make sure all my recipes are great, but then some people have thrown tweaks in there that have worked well too, that I have implemented. So if you want to join that, the link's down there. It's all free. I don't have anything down there with Facebook as far as they don't have any kind of paid stuff. It's just you have to ask to be in the group and we have to approve you. So Crowman, what is a keto crusade? Well, what it is, three of us have gotten together. Chris Cook in Nashville, who does carnivore recipes. Um, Dustin, who is just super knowledgeable, keto simple, and he's been in the low carb community for a while. He knows a lot of people, and he's got a lot of great information. He's got some great recipes and things. But the three of us just got together, and we were just kind of like, well, there's a whole spectrum on the proper human diet, as it's called. Anywhere from the lion diet, where you're basically eating meat and salt and water, all the way to lazy, dirty keto, where you're keeping your carb levels low enough to stay in ketosis, but you're eating all the processed, and I won't say ultra processed because the ingredients are still better, but a lot of the processed keto foods and the dirtier keto foods, although it will still work, is not the most nutritious thing for you. But everybody fall and say, right there, that's my opinion. Maybe it is. There's a lot of people it works for. So if it does, that's awesome. But really everybody should, in our opinion, be somewhere in between those two things. Just a lower carb lifestyle in general. If people went from eating 500 grams of carbs a day to eating 100, they're going to notice differences. So, but we all bring kind of different ideas and approaches to the whole low carb thing. And so we just decided to kind of join together, and we're stronger together. So if there's something I don't know a bunch about, that Chris is really knowledgeable about, or Dustin knows a whole lot more than Chris does about this, then we can all kind of go on and give our input as three kind of not totally different, because we're all wanting people to be healthy, basically. Just different approaches. What works for Chris doesn't work for me, and vice versa. Chris can't do the salads like I do. And everybody's different, but just kind of following your own journey and, knowing where you're at, and one of the three of us may be able to help in that is what the Keto Crusade's all about. So just differing opinions with the same end goal. I mean, that's what it's all about. We're just trying to get to as many people as we can, and answer questions and hang out, talk about things that are going on in the community. And like I said, this in 10 days, we're going to be talking about some of the great things that are happening in the keto community right now and the low carb community. So Sherry said, I just saw the onion parm crisps. I already ate my big meal today, but I need a snack. I'll just leave off the tomatoey sauce. Yum. Yeah, the tomatoey sauce was kind of a last. I just kind of came up with that at the end just to throw on there to make it more like a pizza. So, and Donna will take care of that there. It is Southern Keto's keto, low carb, and carnivore tribe. But it's linked down there. If you go down to the description box under this, you'll see it. And you just go to that, and I will approve you sometime this evening. There you go. Thank you, Donna. $9 for 2 dozen, limit 3 packages. Okay. That's coming down. We weren't hit as hard here, I guess, as a lot of people were, because we have so many egg providers around us. And Walmart's nationwide. We're able to keep eggs in, where a lot of people were having shortages, may have been out of eggs totally. But our good, the ones at Aldi, the pasture raised eggs, they're $5.20 a dozen right now, and they have been for probably 3-4 weeks or so. They were higher than that at one time. They came back down. But then again, the regular eggs, the cheaper eggs, are about the same price. So for a dozen, and obviously, like Sam is, like Dustin's saying here, I mean, $9 for 2 dozen. That's pretty good. And, like I said, it's higher than it should be. Yes. But hey, for a meal, if you can eat 6 eggs for a meal, I mean, we're talking about $2.25 for a whole meal. That ain't too bad. I don't know what else you can eat that's that nutritious for a little over $2. Your crap double cheeseburger at at McDonald's is that much now. and zero nutrition. Well, maybe a little bit in the meat, although I'm not convinced those smaller patties are 100% ground beef because they don't say so. And they say that on the quarter pounder patties. So if you ever see any of my shorts or anything where I'm running by grabbing McDonald's, it's the quarter pounder patties. Because to me, if it don't say 100% ground beef, it probably ain't. So they probably got a little bit of filler in there, but they just don't say. Yeah. Yep. Donna and Dustin got to meet up at a meetup up in, I forgot where it was at, somewhere up there that was a long way from me and I couldn't get to, but let's see. There we go. Rockin' Keto Amy. Yes, I did a version of that for a pizza that's on my channel. I added a couple other things in there, if I remember right. And then the most recent one I did was with that, the Fathead Dough 2.0. That is a phenomenal pizza. I mean, that thing is crispy. It's, the 2-ingredient one that I did first, it's all right. It's a little bit floppy, but it's like if you go to New York and you grab a slice of pizza, you kind of fold in half and hold, and it's falling down in the, it's got grease all over the bottom, and it's just, perfect pizza. That's kind of what that one is. Then adding a little bit of Parmesan cheese helps it in the next one. And then this Fathead Dough one is phenomenal. So, and I'm going to be making some more stuff with that Fathead Dough I am working on right now. So, you're definitely growing on here, so the payoff should increase soon. Should help a lot eventually during the slow times. Yes. Yeah, and I would love to be able to do this full time at some time, but then I may be on here more than y'all want to see me. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but we'll see. Hopefully that comes about. I wonder if pork panko would work to make a keto tortilla. Yes. That's one of the things that I am working with right now. And that's another thing in the Facebook group that people kind of will bring up. Hey, I tried this and I tried this. I've actually got a couple people that I email with pretty regularly that have taken my keto flour and made different things with it. I just hadn't had enough time to get around to making those and still stay on my regular filming schedule right now. So I haven't got around to it. But yes, pork panko with some, almond flour, some different, there's different things you can do, but it would definitely be a good component of that for sure. Wally World, $6 a dozen. I can get farm fresh just down the road for $3 a dozen. Yes, and you know where they came from, and you can probably set them on the counter and wash them as you need them. Not have to worry about refrigerating them. That's one of the cool things about the farm fresh eggs. You can just keep them on the counter as long as they didn't wash the bloom off of them, and you can just wash them when you need to use them. And yeah, Walmart is expensive here too. Aldi's really got them beat on egg prices. So Aldi drives me crazy. You can't really rely on them to have anything. Yeah, they have some stocking issues, I believe, at times. But I meant to do a short about this the other day, but again, a little busy. But they've got their corned beef right now for $2.99 a pound, if they still have it. I grabbed a couple of those the other day too. JC says, I miss beans. Any recommendations? I've heard boiled peanuts, but haven't tried them yet. Yes. I actually threw some chili just to try them because I'd gotten a comment on one of my videos about that. It was on my chili video. And I'm like, well, I had some of the chili frozen that I was going to bring out for our camping trip. And then so I boiled some peanuts. That's like a staple when we go camping. I'm making boiled peanuts. And so I threw a couple in there just to see how they were. And so the really soft ones are good because it almost gives you like a beanie texture. If you don't cook them as long, it kind of, I mean, it still works, right? It's still got a little bit of bulk to it or whatever. But it doesn't have that beanie texture that you'd expect when you take a bite of like a bean chili. And so that does work pretty good. I just want to try that out because I'm probably going to do a chili recipe and add those in there. at some point. So yes, I would recommend using that. Just saw your beef tallow recipe and mind blown. Just need to get some beef fat. Yes, and that's what I was talking about. If you can go to your local so our local butcher is awesome. All right, grass-fed beef, whole 9 yards, $8 a pound for fat. Go to Ingles, talk to the butcher guy. They throw some of it away. A lot of that they use for ground beef, and the parts you really want for beef tallow are the harder fats. There's soft fats, and then there's the harder fats. The suet is what they call it, but the butcher's like, oh, the hard fat. I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, yeah, we grind a lot of it, but a lot of it we just throw away. So 79 cents a pound just from talking to them and getting stuff they were going to throw away, and being able to, me save money, they make a little bit of money, don't have to throw something away, and it's a win-win for everybody. So talking to your local grocery store people has worked. Food Line, I got the same thing. Not that cheap, but it's not too bad. So yeah, I would recommend doing that for sure. And any of your local butchers are going to have it. Some of them may be more proud of it than others are. So it's just a matter of shopping around. I don't know. We've got one. I mean, that's my only option, and it's in the next smaller town over. So it's about 20 minutes to get there. But they've got some really great beef. But I just can't get it all the time because I can't do it like that all the time. I have to get the deals at the grocery stores and stuff on meat, which is perfectly fine. If anybody is unsure about that, you don't have to get the most expensive meat that you can eat. You can get what you can afford. So Steak and Shake is the one that announced about the beef tallow. I was gifted 6 dozen farm fresh eggs. Man, that is the gift that keeps on giving for real. Because like I said, you can set those on the counter and you're good to go. I need to make my own beef tallow. Things are so pricey these days. Yes, and you can find it cheap. And I'm telling you, just find my video on that. It's super easy to do. I have made some since. I wish I had thought that through a little more before I did it, because I was in that video. I kind of took a skewer and I was poking down in the bottom to kind of let the water run out. And you can actually do it without the water, but the water helps to hold some of the impurities and stuff. So that's why I like using that. You can just use all the fat, but then you have nothing to pour off that's going to hold some of the things that you may not want in there. And so somebody in the comments said, well, why don't you flip the jar upside down and then all that will collect at the top? And I'm like, yeah, dummy. Why didn't I think of that? I'm the one. I got a YouTube channel here and I'm trying to poke holes and stuff when I could have flipped the jar upside down like I do with my almond butter. But anyway, y'all help me out a lot with your comments. So I appreciate that all the time. And I like to implement some of them when I can remember. But yeah, making your own beef tallow makes it super cheap for you. Second Shake said they're moving forward with something else too, but I can't remember what that is. Peanut oil is the best for frying unless you have allergies. Well, peanut oil is super, super inflammatory. It's a seed oil, or I'd consider it to be a seed oil. So I wouldn't recommend. Now, as far as the taste, I mean, if you were going off taste, I would say it's even behind beef tallow, in my personal opinion. But, I really don't remember when I don't remember the difference when McDonald's switched over from using beef tallow to not. I've had some of both. They're equally as addictive, but I would go with beef tallow. And speaking of which, I used some beef tallow in my Saturday videos coming out. I did a video a while back about keto French fries, and I used Heavenly Fan's recipe and tweaked a little bit of it. Well, I've been working with it ever since. I've tweaked it a lot. And when I tell you these are going to be the best keto fries you've ever had, I'm telling you, they're going to be the best keto fries that you've ever had. And I fried them up in beef tallow. I baked some in the oven. I've tried them all different ways just to make sure they all come out great. And those fries in the beef tallow, holy cow. That's all I can tell you. Oh, thank you, Donna. Yes. Yeah, that's one that That's one that I would put on the same list as sunflower, safflower, corn oil, canola oil, rapeseed oil, which is another name for canola, but they try to switch it up to confuse you. Vegetable oil, all those to me are in the same category there. I don't like to consume them unless I don't have another choice. And sometimes you just don't. I mean, sometimes you do it. Run Keto Amy, why don't they let you in Whole Foods? Because my wallet ain't big enough. Now they've got you gotta you gotta prove how much you make before you can even get in there now. Yeah, I'm not bougie enough for the Whole Foods, so I'd have to sneak in about 5 minutes before they close and hope nobody sees me, and then I might be able to get out with some food. We'll see. Thanks so much. I just joined. You have more of those funny comments for videos like you had shared live? Yes, I got some. I got some saved up, Lynn. I got 2 or 3. Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare for this tonight, but we got back from camping, and then we decided to do that little short today with the viral onion thingies. So I didn't have a whole lot of time, but yes, I got 2 or 3 of them saved up in here. I finally got some apple extract in and now can't find the recipe I ordered it for. I would say it's probably my apple cider donuts. It could be, I've done a few things with apples. I did an apple pie. So probably the apple donuts or the apple pie that I can think of them. There may be another one. What are your most go-to meals? My most go-to meals are normally like a chicken salad. I would say is probably my go-to. We put, some hard-boiled eggs on there, some Parmesan crisps. I make my own blue cheese dressing that I put on there using the Duke's mayonnaise recipe that I do with avocado oil. So if I had to say a go-to that I do the most is probably that with either chicken or steak. It just depends on if I got any steak left over. Burgers are a go-to, and stuffed things. I mean, we do a lot of stuffed things. So stuffed bell peppers, stuffed the little sweet peppers with I've got several of those. If you ever look at like quick and easy, if you ever see anything that says quick and easy and it's one of my recipe videos, that's most likely what we eat the most. Because most of them are quick and easy now. I work a lot on the recipes and stuff. So, when I make something like that, then we'll eat on it for a couple of days, or I'll freeze half of it for later or whatever. But yeah, eat pretty simple. That's what I do. And then busy times, keto chow. Do a lot of that. Matter of fact, I've got a mint chocolate chip ice cream that I'm going to eat after we get done here tonight. So that's another go-to. Whole Foods is close to, yeah. I mean, they can have Whole Foods really, in my opinion now, but man, I like Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's got some good prices. They got some unique products. That mistake cheese, if anybody's got Trader Joe's near them and haven't tried that mistake cheese, it's a mistake. You need to try that cheese. That stuff is awesome. Hey there, Monica. Yeah, Wayfair Mama. So the apple extract, obviously apple's not low carb, so I used some chayote squash and did an apple pie with that. I've made one of the big things around here is in the mountains. So, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours from us, there's apple picking. I mean, the fall, like the mountains in North Carolina, Northeast Georgia mountains. I mean, the apples everywhere. And particularly in North Carolina is where we'll normally go. When the leaves are turning and everything, we'll try to ride up the Appalachian Parkway and everything. And but one of the things they always have is the apple cider donuts. And so I wanted to make an apple cider donut that wasn't, 100 grams of carbs. So I did that one, used the apple extract in it to get that taste, and they came out really good. So Heard a rumor that Popeye's chicken was going to beef tallow. Not sure the veracity of that rumor. That would be great. Because Popeyes, you can get those naked ones too. And really their breading carb wise is not that bad. I wouldn't suggest that as something that's part of your regular diet, especially now because they're not using any beef tallow. But if they did, that would be really exciting, and I think that would open up a lot of possibilities, especially if they fry some of that naked chicken in that. That'd be great. Not the bunny rabbits. I'm having a salad tonight. Yep. Yeah, for some people, I mean, I guess they think that, as people evolved and, over the years, they just ate meat. I mean, a lot of people think that, or at least pretend to think that. I don't know if if they really think, but I mean, you've got crude, you're making spears out of pieces of wood, carving the end out, trying to go kill something and eat it. Well, what do you eat if you don't? I mean, you eat whatever you can find. So you're talking about acorns. You're talking about whatever kind of salad that you could have that, wouldn't kill you. And, so thankfully, a lot of those people figured that stuff out for us. So we don't have to figure it out. But yeah, people have over the years eaten whatever they could eat. Of course, when they could find a lot of meat or they had a lot of meat, they ate a lot of meat. There was in the early 1900s, there was a scientist that traveled and he lived with the Inuit Eskimos for a long time, and their diet was pretty much fat. I mean, they would eat the fattiest cuts of the animals, the tenderloins, the non-fatty cuts of meat. They'd throw to the dogs. They let the dogs have that, and they were able to survive on meat because they had so much of it available. But other people, other cultures, other places ate whatever they could get their hands on to avoid dying. It was you didn't have much of a choice. You get what you can. The Natural Bliss Zero vanilla, for me, it is yuck. I'm not even gonna be able to finish that bottle. Oh, I like that salted caramel a lot. Hello and happy Thursday to you, Delilah. You're deep in the middle of nowhere when you start hitting random Dollar Generals. That's right. Yeah, Dustin, down here, I mean, you might wake up one morning and look out in your backyard and there's a Dollar General and popped up in your backyard. So that's where we're at. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I got one 10 minutes from me in either direction I go. So that's pretty cool. And then a new one that's about 30 minutes away. So that's good too. Hey there, Paula. How are you tonight? We have a ton of Dollar Generals here. Yep. Thought y'all were pretty close together. So yeah, if you strike out at one Aldi, you can go to another one right up the road from there. So, because yeah, y'all are right. There's a lot of those, like the tenderloins and stuff that come out around Thanksgiving. I mean, if you don't hit them the first day they're there, and that's why I try to let you know if I find something. I couldn't with the corned beef, but if I find something like that, I try to let you know because you got to get in, get it, and get out, or you won't be able to find it. That's even the same with the grass-fed beef too, the ground beef. A lot of times they'll be out of it, and I'll have to go and ask somebody, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I think we got some in the back," and they'll go grab some. But it's that's how they keep the cost low. There's not a ton of people stocking the shelves, so you're kind of trading that convenience, so to speak, for the cheaper prices. So I'll take that and have to go ask somebody if y'all might have some in the back or not. And I'll take the savings instead. So yeah, we like the Chobanis. So, and it sure is a whole lot better alternative than the coffee mates and stuff like that they're just flavored oils. I'm super appreciative of all the information you share on your channel. It's helped a lot. Well, I'm so glad that it has, and I really appreciate you watching. Hope that YouTube stuff turns out right. Don't we all? Don't we all? That'd be amazing to have a nice community where you guys could come on and share um, photos of stuff that you've done or other recipes that you like or whatever, just like we can do in that Facebook group. So I hope it turns out the way that they're talking right now. I shop at the military commissary, but it's a bit of a drive. I end up stopping at Walmart Market in between trips. Yeah, and the Walmart Market is a good, at least to me, it seems like that's a good place to go and see what keto and low carb stuff may be coming to the regular Walmart. For the longest time, I had to go to the market to get Zevias. I had to go to the market to get beef gelatin. And then eventually both of them ended up in the big Walmart. So I like checking those out just to see what's coming around here, because we just never know here. Paula, you are awesome. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I don't know if you were here for this or not, but there's some fries coming on Saturday that you might enjoy too. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you supporting my channel. Yep, Family Dollar. Yeah, those are all over. Aldi opened up here in Pensacola about a year back. Now we have several finally. We go to Sam's Club early in the morning, twice a month as well. Love the chaffle recipe. Yum. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we'll be I'll be vacationing down around Pensacola here in a couple months. So kind of down in that area. Yeah, commissaries are great if you can get in. My ex-brother-in-law was in the Marines, and we used to go in there and go in with him and get stuff in the commissary. So that was pretty cool. Absolutely, Dustin. That is what it's all about. We bring our different perspectives and experiences so we can tackle misinformation and all that. Got 2 Walmarts and Sam's, 2 Sam's and Aldi are my go-tos. China Walmart is only for hard to find stuff. I've been there once for many, many years. And you can find some keto deals at Dollar General too. But Dollar General's kind of, to me, they seem like they're a lot more expensive on some things. You think it's cheap because they're called Dollar General, but it ends up being more expensive than if you were to get it at Walmart or whatever. So. Yep. Keto Simple, you do great. He does. Dustin is awesome. I wish I could come to that meetup with y'all last weekend. I've weaned myself to 30 grams of carbs or lower plus exercise, intermittent fasting, yoga, and meditation, and it's working for me. 35 pounds down in 12 weeks. That is awesome, Stephanie. That is amazing. I hope y'all comment to Stephanie on that. That is amazing. And, like I've always said, you don't have to exercise on keto, but if you want to, take it to the next level, 20-minute walk after you eat, or, 30 minutes first thing in the morning before you eat anything. That's a fat loss hack right there. Your body's at the point where it's probably, ready. If you eat breakfast, it's ready to break the fast. And by you taking a walk and forcing your body to use something else for fuel other than what you're putting in it right then, that's a great thing to do. So, but yeah, you don't have to exercise, but it will definitely help you. And yoga and meditation, these are things I'm going to start getting into more, because this is kind of my background. With keto, this has been, since I was doing personal training and everything. That's just the right way to eat. All the other things, the yoga, the meditation, the herbs, the supplements, all that was from, my holistic health practitioners, herbalists, all those things are just supplementing what I think is the best diet you can possibly eat. And yoga and meditation help in so many ways, because, number one, you're going to lower your cortisol, because of lowering your stress, especially if you have chronic stress. Hopefully, a lot of you don't have chronic stress, but there's good stress and bad stress. Meeting a deadline or something like that, that's good stress. That's stuff that you need. That's the stuff that drives me. Like, I know I got a video, this French fry video for Saturday. I hadn't even started on it yet. That deadline, that drives me. That's to me a good stress. A bad stress is, every day, constant something, could be a bad job, unhappiness. It could be a number of things, but chronic stress over time just drives your cortisol levels up. Your body wants to store fat, and anything you can do to lower that stress level just helps. I won't get off on a tangent about that, but I'm going to be bringing a lot more of that into this because, it's one thing to eat a keto diet. It's another thing to be healthy and, enjoy your life and do all the things that you can do to make it even a little bit better, if you can. 1% better is 1% better, even if that's all something helps you. So. We'll try those Parmesan crisps very soon, very soon. Sounds like you might be making them right now, but I don't know. Had my first salad in 4 years the other day. Tasted so good. Keto 4 years now, will soon be 70. Best thing I ever did for inflammation. Absolutely. And Shirley, I'd be curious to know, since you have not had a salad in 4 years, I don't know if you were doing carnivore or what, but I'd be interested to see how your body reacted to that. So I would like to know that. And y'all make sure you give me a thumbs up down there and help me out all you can. That's something free that you can do. Hit that thumbs up, and if you know anybody that you think this information will help, then share it with them. Y'all are great about sharing things too. So yeah, Donna, we just made that for lunch today, and I'm like, we're gonna do a short of this, and since it was hot, so I'm gonna start doing more of those little shorts like that with like a full recipe in 30 seconds. Because up to now, what I've been doing is kind of just showing off some recipes that I have, just because people may not have seen them, because a lot of them are older and great recipes, but I didn't have a lot of people watching back then. So, I just felt like a lot of people might have missed them. But my wife, she watches like the reels, and I don't have time to do it, but she'll watch those, and I'm like, well, hey, if you find something that looks good, let's just make it and see how it turns out. I'll make a little short out of it or whatever if it turns out good. And so we're gonna be doing some more of that too. She's gonna find me those viral things. If y'all find anything viral, always you can message me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. If you see something viral that looks really good, I might try it out and make it into a little short. So I'm gonna do more of those. They seem to do really good. And that's something I hadn't ever really done, but we do make a lot of quick and easy type stuff like that. So why not? Let's see. Congratulations. Eggs aren't horrible. 18 pack for under $9. Yeah, that's pretty good. From what I've seen at like Walmart here anyway. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was in Walmart today, matter of fact, and I didn't see any free range organic eggs in Walmart. I didn't check for the egg whites, but yes, y'all should be proud of yourselves. That's for sure. I shall have this next Keto Crusade set to my side this weekend. New software will allow, to manage comments, so we can ensure we get to the most questions. Yeah, because I can barely get into it, but Dustin's helping me with all this. So I know Victor rolls his eyes when I say it, but I lean more ketovore because I'm keto, but have a tendency towards meat. Yes, heavy meat leaning meals. So yes, I would say meat heavy keto. I have a neighbor with chickens. Eggs are $4, pasture raised. Right now they're kind of little. Some of the hens are still young still. Yeah, I'm ready for my neighbor to get her her hens laying again. But there's just nothing like walking over to your neighbor's house and picking up some eggs and helping them, and they're helping you at the same time. It's a good thing. We have a best in burgers here, and it's glorious. And I have not heard of that. But if it's glorious, I need to find out about it, sounds like. Love to kind of find a good keto biscuit. Yeah, I have. I've done a few keto biscuit recipes. One of them I did with my keto flour. If you've made the keto flour, I did a biscuit with that. I've done a cheddar bay biscuit. I think I've done one more for biscuits and gravy, a different recipe. So, yeah, somebody the other day went back and watched the old cheddar bay biscuit one and made those and loved them. So, probably the best texture, most like a biscuit, because those kind of end up being a little bit flat. They taste great. They got a good chew, but they end up being a little bit flat, where the one that I did with the keto flour were a little fluffier. Still hard to get that, traditional kind of biscuit, fluffiness, but that's the closest I've gotten so far. So glad the national average for eggs and the gas are going down. Inflation is too. Been watching it closely. Yes. Hopefully the eggs will continue as we get more laying hens out there again. And for, if y'all don't know, I mean, the big reason for this shortage in a lot of areas is because of the bird flu, and they had to get rid of a ton of chickens. I guess we just have an overabundance here because our prices haven't seemed to be nearly as bad, and the supply it hasn't been nearly as bad. Although, like somebody was saying, the organic ones, like at Walmart, are getting bought out pretty fast. But like Aldi still has them. So glad everything's going down too. Yep. There we go. Leave mine on the counter. Yes, you can leave those eggs on the counter. That's the cool thing about it. Make the best burger, fresh ground beef in my cast iron pan with bacon fat over salad. Yes, that sounds good. There's nothing like a hot bacon grease, like a bacon, bacon and mustard dressing. I mean, you can make so much good stuff with some warm bacon grease. That's great. I went to the manager. Aldi told me the corned beef was not on sale and wasn't supposed to be marked as on sale. So I made him give me the 6 in my cart for the sale price. No regrets. Yeah, I mean, they had it on sale. It was on sale nationwide. That was like in one of the groups was talking about that, about how theirs was on sale, and they were all the way across the country. So I went to mine, and sure enough, it was on sale. So yeah. I have, yes, I'll try to make some biscuits maybe tomorrow as we have strong storm. Yeah, we do too, Shirley. So yeah. Yeah, that biscuit recipe that I'm talking about, I know the title was something like the ugliest biscuits ever, because they were. I mean, I'm just, I've never been a baker. Now I can like create stuff and make it. As far as making it look good, that ain't my specialty. That's my wife's specialty. The stuff she makes looks real good. The stuff I make is ugly, but it's going to taste good. So somebody actually said something on one of my videos. I think it might have been that one. Like, well, why don't you just use some like stock photos or something for your? And I'm like, I'm gonna use the real picture. I mean, it might look ugly, but it's gonna be real, and you're gonna know it's you're gonna know it's real, and it's gonna taste good. Might not be the prettiest, but I'm working on it. I'm not a professional chef, so I just love to cook, and that's why I started this channel to begin with. Has anyone checked the ingredients in the bread from Aldi? It doesn't look too bad, but I love some input. And they've got 2 or 3 different ones. And that just, the keto breads and the keto packaged products just kind of depend on where you're at in your journey. If it's, if you're early on, I would recommend eating as much whole foods as you can. And not from Whole Foods, but whole foods, 1 ingredient foods, as much of that as you can, and then add in some other things as you need to. and that keto for beginners, I kind of covered that, and that thing's been kind of a labor of love for me. I just felt like that's something I needed to do, and I know a lot. I love doing these lives and stuff, but I just felt like I really need to focus on putting that together for a lot of people that have expressed that they really needed something to listen to on how to do it. So it's been kind of a labor of love to me, but yeah. Our local butcher sells lard and fat cuttings like $6.99 a pound. Yeah, a lot of them are kind of high. Stock generators charged. Bronco Sport is under the cover already. Yeah, you're ready to go. Yeah, my generator is ready to go too. I'm hoping I don't have to use it. I pray that's like an insurance policy that now that I have it, we won't ever get any bad storms again. But if we do, I'm at least ready for it. And, you know, I've got a lot of frozen food, deep freezer, garage freezer, and a freezer in the house. So I got to keep on. I mean, there's just too much, too much meat in there not to keep it going. So yes, indeed. I like money. Saving money is one of my favorite things to do. Oh yeah, there you go. Oh yeah. Well, if you had your receipt, because yeah, most people just throw those away. He thought he could get you there. So no, you don't. Anyone experimenting with daikon radish as a potato replacement? Yeah, I've done several videos with that. I don't like the daikon as much because you have to cook it longer. I'd rather just have a rustic looking one and use regular radishes and chop them up. But I did a potato salad with that, a mashed potatoes with that. I even went as far as the first time I did the mashed potatoes, I went as far as to peel each one of the little radishes, which I will never do again. And that's why I tried the daikon after that. And I've tried that a couple times, and both times it just felt like I needed to cook it longer. Maybe I just don't know how to pick out the radishes, but I figured the firmness should be about like the regular radishes were. But it just seemed like I had to cook them for so long, and it wasn't really worth it. I just tell people, oh, this is a rustic red potato salad. Don, I could see you taking about 12 of them corned beefs and throwing them in the freezer. I live in Northeast Ohio. Yep, because y'all are close together. Went to the local butcher years ago. It was a slaughterhouse. I talked to the butcher and found out the beef comes from Nebraska. I bought a whole loin, 22 pounds, saved $1 a pound. I was going to Tractor Supply. I had to get a chemical for a pressure washing job I got coming up, and there was one of those trailers out there that you park it, and I was like, man, I almost want to try this just because. But their big sign was 20 ribeyes for $29, and I'm like, I don't know about the quality of this stuff, but I almost want to try it just to see. I mean, I don't. If any of y'all have ever tried any of that side of the road stuff, I think they just got them in big freezers and they travel around. I see them from time to time. But if y'all have ever tried those, if they're any good, I can go pick some up tomorrow. But I was tempted, but not tempted enough to try it before talking to anybody about it. So butcher cut it up into steaks and roast for free. That is great. Yeah, we just don't have many butchers around here. A lot of cows, but they export a lot of this stuff or eat it themselves. So true. There you go. As of April the 1st, Steak and Shake will start using 100% Wisconsin butter instead of margarine spread. That's awesome. So that is what Steak and Shake is doing too. Man, I mean, so many good things right now going on. It's great. People are kind of waking up and seeing what's going on behind the scenes, behind the curtain, so to speak. It's like the Wizard of Oz. That's kind of what's going on. is there's more information out there, and especially with y'all spreading um, these videos and things like you do. Even if somebody's like, you're totally full of crap, at least that awareness is there, right? So, like, well, there's no way, the government, excuse me, they're telling me to, eat this much bread, and this much rice, and this much grains, and this much cereal. So you're saying you don't eat any of that because it's not good for you. Well, I'm going to stick with what I've always been told. Well, there's always that in the back of your mind thing. Well, maybe they're on to something, you're not going to force anybody to do keto or low carb if they don't want to, but just the awareness, just planting the seed, that's all you can do. If you try to force somebody into it, and this is what you got to do, this is what's going to work, that's not going to ever get anybody to do it. But if they're curious and there's a chance that one thing might spark something eventually over time or now, it's always worth trying to plant the seed anyway. Thank you, Donna. Make sure y'all clicking that like button down there, please. Thanks, Dustin. Yeah, that's awesome news, man. I love that. That is a fact right there. Whole Foods nickname's whole paycheck. That's absolutely right. You can spend a whole paycheck and come out with a bag of food that's that big. I mean, you can spend as much in Whole Foods for the fewest amount of food that any place I've ever seen. Whole Foods is crazy. Oh, thank you, Donna. Donna tagged the apple donut video, the apple pie video, some quick and easy recipes. So those are all up there for you to check out and save for later. Grass-fed beef is nothing new for country folks. You just have an understanding with the animal. I feed you a while and you fight. Yeah, absolutely. It's the way, that's what they are supposed to eat, right? I mean, that's grass-feds. It's what's supposed to be their diet. Went on a jalapeno popper binge. I've had it quite often. Yes. Jalapeno poppers are great. Like I said, we love the stuffed things, and that's one of the things too. And we will do, this is the ice cream video, and I will be doing a lot more with this ice cream this coming year as it starts getting hot. Oh, I'm telling you, I got some good ideas for some ice creams coming. So hope y'all enjoy them. Can't eat desserts, even keto. I'm a sugarholic. Yes, well, that's good that you know yourself and you know that about yourself. Some people can't. That's a good point. That's part of it is, they can do studies on this and studies on that and studies on this and studies on that. But the best study that can be done is the one that you study yourself, figure out exactly what's going to work for you. Some people might have to go all the way down to a carnivore diet just to try to figure out what is triggering food allergens, or maybe you might have a little intolerance to something. That food allergy test that I like so much that I've mentioned before is a great thing to do, so you don't have to go through that. It'll tell you what you're going to be allergic to without having to do that. But that's a great point. You just have to experiment with yourself and know what's going to work for you. Some people, they have a little taste of something sweet, which, I mean, you could say that I do that because I have a dessert about every night. But then again, I'm pretty clean about 95% of the time. Other than that, so I'll throw in some like that Kaizen pasta. We have some of that. The 2-carb one, this the lupin flour and xanthan gum, I believe. That doesn't spike my blood sugar, but again, I'm not type 2 diabetic. Pretty healthy metabolically now. I wasn't, but now I am. So I can do things like that a lot of people may not be able to. So, and then some people may need to use like my keto dessert recipes to transition, because you can't have them forever, but you may need that just to get you through, or those fat bombs even to get you through until you can eat as clean as you want to. So mistake cheese, yes, is at Trader Joe's. They called it mistake cheese. There's a story that's on the actual package of cheese that I've read once and forgotten. But they were trying to age some cheddar, I believe, or age another thing, and it came out not what they were wanting, but they found that it was delicious. And so now they call it the mistake cheese. So it was pretty cool. And it's a really good cheese. Liz, hello from Texas. Welcome yourself. Yes. I made cottage cheese, chocolate ice cream, added 2 tablespoons of my organic decaf coffee. It is delicious. Yes. Jerry, we got to keep this G-rated in here now. I'm just messing with you. But I do too. I know what you mean. Let's see. Oh yes, the cowboy candy. About time to make some more of that. I'm not going to be doing a big garden this year. I just don't have time, but I'm going to be doing some fresh basil. That's what I really like to grow. I like to grow the Genovese basil and the purple basil, and always got thyme and sage, and got 2 huge rosemary plants. Got a bunch of medicinal herbs growing that are perennials that just keep coming back. But I'm trying to keep it low maintenance now. So just some patio stuff. I've got some blueberries. We might do some strawberries, but I got a couple blueberry bushes, a raspberry bush, goji berries, several things like that out there. But so I may or may not do any jalapenos this year, but I'm definitely going to get some from a farmer's market and make some more of the cowboy candy, because that stuff don't last long around here. Let's see. Issues with all the companies switching to beef tallow. Their fries are still pork fried and vegetable oils. All the things they cook in the tallow probably too. Yep. Yeah, so it's better than it was, but not as good as it could be. Yep, Shirley, my favorite. It's like I always say, if you don't have an Aldi in your town, you need to move. We just opened Dollar General here in Sheridan, Wyoming. God, that's some beautiful country there. I want to go to Wyoming, Montana. Check all that out one day. Huh. All right. Good tip, Shirley. I'll have to check out that fish, barramundi. It is great. There you go, Stephanie. Yeah, I made a coffee ice cream last year. I did a video on too. It's like my original base recipe, and some really good coffee in it, and it's really good. And I did a spice rub in that same video, a coffee rub that I made. Publix is opening stores in Kentucky. Coolest thing about Publix is when you walk down the aisles of Publix, like they're pretty energy efficient there. And so, like if you walk down the frozen aisles, you walk by all the glass cases and the lights are all off and they're motion activated. So it's like being a wrestler, like walking down the entranceway and there's like fire shooting up and everything. You walk down through there, lights come on, lights come on, lights come on. I'm like Ric Flair or something, man. So, but Publix is super expensive. I mean, their produce, I forgot I had to buy a bell pepper in there one day, I think it was, and it was like almost $3 for a bell pepper. I'm like, this is why I don't come here. I'm just cheap like that, especially for produce when you get a bell pepper for 89 cents at the same time when they're in season. Eat whatever you can get your hands on includes fish, water bugs, groundfowl, waterfowl, squab, squirrels, rabbits, snakes, crickets, grubs, eggs, frogs, etc. They cannot be trapped, or that could be trapped, not just hunted. And if they couldn't find any of that, they're going to eat some plants. I love your recipes. They've all turned out so good. Yes. I appreciate that, Liz. I'm glad they all turned out good for you. I really try to test them all, at least at least a couple times, just to make sure they're going to turn out right. And then I try to go into the videos. I know a lot of people, or not a lot of people, I think most people are okay with it, but I always try to like even over explain some stuff on the videos of why I do certain things. Like for example, I think might have been the fathead dough. Somebody used like a full fat mozzarella instead of using the parched skim. And there was a reason for that. It's so that it doesn't end up like a huge puddle of, water and other other fats. A lot of times that's for texture. Obviously, it's better if you're eating just mozzarella cheese, eat the full fat mozzarella. But if you have to use it in a recipe to get a certain texture, that's a different thing. It's going to be different. And that's what you really need to use. And so I try to explain that part in the videos too. So hopefully everybody's all right with that. Where's all these source their meat? I've been sticking with the butcher for the most part. Sometimes I wonder about the ham or the corned beef, etc. I didn't look at the corned beef, but a lot of their beef comes from New Zealand. Lamb. So I would think probably the same, but I didn't look at that one. I just saw it. There was a couple left. I grabbed one while I could still get my hands on it. Yeah, good question there about that fish from Aldi, because I'm going to look for that. Yeah, Jerry, as far as that goes, as far as buying a store-bought one, that's just something that you'll have to experiment with yourself, because everybody's body is a little different when it comes to that. There is one that I used in the cream chip beef video that didn't do anything. Like it didn't spike my blood sugar. Obviously, your blood sugar, when you eat, it's going to go up, but you don't want it to go up like that. And so that bread, I never can think of the name of it because I don't get it very often because I make my own. But it didn't do much to mine. But then a lot of people have said, hey, yeah, it spiked my blood sugar. So that's really, there may be some people, maybe type 2 diabetic or whatever, that will be able to give you a better idea of that than me. But a lot of things that don't spike my blood sugar may with somebody else's. So that's why I try to make sure all my ingredients in my recipes are not going to do that. I don't use, the only iffy ingredients basically that I use, or that I try to use. Now, I may have had something like, I did do a little bit of pineapple juice in a recipe one time that the amount I don't think would really be too bad. But, things like that. I mean, to some people, even a tiny bit of it is going to spike. But that is just an experiment you have to do for yourself and just check it. There's some brands that are really, like the Aldi brand keto bread, as much as I love them, that stuff, as soon as you put something on it, it just dissolves. It starts it's almost like a magic trick. Like you got a piece of bread and then all of a sudden you're stuck with meat and that's it. The bread kind of dissolves. So, any of my bread recipes, yes, there you go. But any of the ones that if you make it yourself, the ones that I make, the 3 that I've done so far and one that I got coming, any of those should be okay for you. But again, I would always test it. There's, don't take my word or anybody else's that creates those recipes. Please don't take anybody's word that tells you exactly what amount of carbs is in something and take that as gospel, because you change one ingredient, you just change that whole count. Now that may be true for the ingredients they're using, but if you really need to count things that closely, get like the Chronometer app, get the Carb Manager app, and put the ingredients that you use on a regular basis in there, just so you know. And if you're going to make one of my desserts and say you're tracking your macros really, really strictly, and you want to be at 20 grams of net carbs a day, and you've got 3 grams of net carbs left over, and you've got my, say something with almond flour, lemon dessert with the almond flour crust, right? if you have that app, you can kind of figure what the recipe is and be like, oh, okay, well, if I'm at the end of every day, if I've got 5 grams of net carbs left over, I got 3 left over, and I don't suggest you count. Keto for Beginners videos is what to watch for that on all that, but that can help you portion it out. So if you know you got 5 left over, and there's 2 grams in this, you can cut them a little bit bigger. So that's just to help yourself. The portion size is what it is. Sometimes I'll have a quarter of a pie. Sometimes it'll be a tiny slice. I've just been doing it long enough. I just kind of know what I can do, but that's not the same for everybody. That's why I always recommend that. And like I said, just please don't take anybody's word as gospel for what that carb count is. Plug in one recipe and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm talking total carbs too, not net carbs or calculations or anything like that. So, thank you, Donna. So there's some of the bread recipes. If you like Zevia and have Menards nearby, they're on sale for $3 per 8-pack. That is awesome. That is a great deal. Yeah, y'all run in and grab those. That's a killer deal. And I've got an auction house near me that I buy mine from. I just went in and picked up a case of the creamy root beer the other day. So I get them 24 at a time, but they're hugely discounted because nobody down here wants sugar-free stuff. I'm trying to spread the word, but I can still get great deals on the Zevias at that auction place. So then they do like Amazon returns. They buy like big pallets of stuff and then resell it, and you can get some deals if y'all got any places like that around you. Let's see, fish for Lent at local store has cod loins for $6.99. Yeah, let's check that fish out too. So I know I got to go tomorrow. I usually go to Aldi at least every other day, so I'll check that out tomorrow for that fish. Had my order of gelatin that was supposed to arrive, and PO says problem occurred, and they're sending it back because of damage. Never had that happen before. Yeah, I have had that before with powders. I'd ordered some protein powder one time, and I actually ended up getting a picture of it, but you could just tell that the powder had kind of like went through the box, and I think that was a chocolate one. So I mean, it probably smelled like chocolate, but they took a picture of it. That was through UPS, but usually they don't catch it, and you just get the damaged product, and you have to deal with it yourself and return it and all that. But that stinks. But yeah, if you've got a Walmart near you, they got a great beef gelatin there now. I'm assuming it's probably nationwide now. Yes, it was a meat up. There you go. Let's see. Love the things you do about the Scam Farm Meds. Well, thank you. Like I said, I just try to always keep up with the science when I can of what's going on, because I try to give the best advice that I know of myself, just based on, the research that I do and trying to keep up with those kind of trends. I read a lot of news stuff about keto instead of as many videos now, just to learn, more that I can bring to the channel. Because there's research coming out all the time now. So I try to stay on top of it for y'all and for myself, because if there was a legitimate study that came out and said that you need to drink seed oils instead of eat butter, and it was legit, then I'd say y'all might want to look at this and see, but we all know that ain't true, and that the study was BS. So I wanted to go to this real quick, if I can bring it up this time. Let's see. This is another keto bit of good news. This is really awesome for several reasons, and I'm gonna put this with a link to the study on my on YouTube tomorrow with this picture right here, if you can see that. But this was a study that was actually done. A part of the involvement in doing this study was Dr. Ken Berry was a part of this. So now he's at a point where he's able to take his expertise and get involved with some of these studies. And there he is right down there. You know, Dr. Berry I agree with him on a lot of things. I disagree with him on some things. But what I really love is I definitely agree with his way of breaking these studies down. I mean, it's kind of the same way I do it, just common sense. How did they come up with this study? For different reasons, we're going to talk about different things. I can talk about some of these follow the money type things that I believe myself. And, you know, all the evidence is there for you to pull up. I just try to present it the way I see it and knowing how these guys work. But anyway, this is a great study right there. Dr. Berry did a great job on that. And so I will link to that tomorrow. So that was another one. And check this one out. This was pretty cool right here. Let's see, let me stop that one. Tell you, I'm just stumbling through this, but I'm gonna get there. Dustin's gonna help me if he's still here. Let's see, calorie. This is it right here. So here's another one. Keto diet metabolite may power up CRT cells to kill cancer. So we're talking about cancer research now. This was actually a little bit older. I thought this was the newer one that just came out, but they had another one also about the cancer and the ketogenic diet. So a lot of good stuff coming. A lot of good stuff coming. Hey there, Lori. Yep, I did a cholesterol video back in the day. Skip through here. No, I am not diabetic. I am not. So that's why I always ask, you know, if I'm doing any of those prepackaged keto products, I always like to know, like these Kaizen noodles. I'm a big fan of those. I really like them. They're expensive. I don't like that fact, but you know, being new and being pretty much the only game in town, they can charge what they want right now. And if you want some pasta, you gotta deal with it or don't eat it. Unfortunately, but hopefully, as more and more people want products like these, cleaner, healthier alternatives, the prices will come down. There'll be more competition in the market and things like that. But for right now, I don't like the fact that they're expensive, but I love them. But I always ask, like my type 2 diabetics or type 1 diabetics or whatever, please let me know if you try this stuff and what it does, just so I can help educate other people, because how it affects me is not the way that's going to affect you. Even if I was type 2 diabetic, the way it affects me is not the way it'll affect another type 2 diabetic necessarily. So Ariana, 31 years, best thing I did for my stress level was go to 1 day a week. Best thing for health has been keto. Awesome. I am not now. Paula, I have thought about doing a video this year where I kind of teach that subject. If you're familiar with TM, I know the techniques for that. Now, TM is a registered trademark. It cannot be, you can't talk about any of that. You can't tell anybody what they do. It's like they come after you on that. But knowing how to do it and adapting it to my own way of doing it, I think I'm going to come out with a video this year where it's kind of a, you know, I may talk to you about how to do it and then have like a set timer where you can go on and kind of do it, and maybe I have some pictures on the screen or whatever, but and then like an alarm at the end or something like that. I've thought about that too, because it's huge for stress reduction. I mean, there's nothing much better. You know, a lot of people think it's all hippy dippy type stuff, but you know, research studies have shown for years and years and years now on the benefits of meditation. And it's not something a lot of keto people talk about. It's mostly diet type stuff. But like I said, this year I'm going to try to bring a lot more of my other background other than keto into this channel. So hopefully it's helpful for you. If not, I'll just go back to making recipes. So I can do that for sure. Let's see. Thanks for the heads up a while back on the A to Z guide to drug herb vitamin interactions. Got a couple. Love your channel. Thank you so much, Netgear. And yeah, and that's something too, that before you take anything that I recommend, any supplements, any herbs, vitamins, just anything you can buy at the vitamin shop, anything you can order on Amazon, before you take any of those, get that book first, because I know a lot of people are on medications. A lot of people are trying to get off medications, and there's some medications that do not play well with some of the things that I recommend or that I can take myself. I don't take any medications. Turmeric, I mean, turmeric's one for sure. If you're on any kind of blood thinners, you don't want to take turmeric. Now, you may see a video pop up that says, you know, turmeric's going to do this and this and this and this and this and this. And they never mention the fact that if you're taking blood thinners, that's not something you want to take with them. So anytime I'm on one of those videos, I'm going to bring that book up because it's just something that you need. And another thing, if you, obviously you're probably, if you're taking a bunch of medications, you're probably trying to get off of them, right? A lot of those medications, you just can't cut out cold turkey. You need a doctor by your side to help wean you down on some of these medications. I can't do that. I can't tell you how to do that. I don't like those medications in the first place. So I definitely can't tell you how to get off of them safely, because I'm not a doctor that was trained in pharmaceuticals. That's basically what they're trained in now. They're trained in the drugs to prescribe, what the side effects could be, and another drug to prescribe to take care of the side effect that came from that first drug that was prescribed. So that's their job. That's their field. That's what they do. So just my 2 cents for the 2 cents that it was worth. But yeah, I appreciate that. Let's see. Hello. It's good to see you. So what chocolate chips are true keto, no maltodextrin or other yucky things added? It depends on the yucky things that you're willing to eat. The best ones right now, in my opinion, are the Bake Believe from Walmart. You can find them at Walmart. Someone's told me they have them at Costco also. Some of them are higher in carbs than the other ones. There's a dark chocolate one. It's obviously the lowest in carbs. They've got a semi-sweet that's just a little bit more than that. And then they've got a milk chocolate, which is going to be higher in carbs, just from the milk fats, or from the milk, the sugar in the milk. But they don't add a lot of extra junk to them. They're sweetened with sugar alcohol. There's stevia sweetened lilies, but they've added some junk to them. So, or you can just always use just, dark chocolate and add some of your own sweetener to it. Like a 90% cacao is not going to have very much. It's not going to have added sugar and not a lot of carbs. So you could do something like that and add your own. So, but Bake Believe is the one I like, and you can find them at Walmart, like I said, or if Dustin's still on here, or if anybody else knows if you can get them at Costco. I don't have a Costco, so just got myself a Ninja Creamy, and I love it. So far, I've used my Fairlife and Atkins protein shakes. Awesome. Yeah, I got a Creamy just last year. I've been making it. I've got this Cuisinart ice cream maker that I used for all my ice cream videos and stuff, and I absolutely love the thing. But I'm gonna tell you, the Creamy is awesome. I've been making keto chow milkshakes, keto chow ice cream with that, mixing it up, getting those little creamy. I got 5 of those now, the little quart containers, and so you can make a whole blender full of it, pour it into there, and then when you're ready for an ice cream, you got a pint ready. So it's pretty good. There is Jerry in the house, and if y'all don't subscribe to Jerry's channel, Jerry has got Jerry's got a recipe that I got to find some time, Jerry, to make this. She's got a 3-ingredient white bread that looks awesome. And I had a white bread recipe ready to come out. I'm talking about like sandwich bread, like Sunbeam or whatever. I know a lot of people have different terms for stuff like that, but anyway, I saw that video and I'm like, oh, hang on, I got to try one of the ingredients that's in that inside this bread to see if it'll make it even better. And so I've got to still do that, but Jerry is in the house anyway, so I'm gonna try that recipe soon, and then I may implement some of that into my recipe. Why did the coconut tort go to therapy? It had shell shock from all the mixing. And y'all, Carrie is in the house. Y'all say hey to Carrie. You will keep in perfect peace with those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Absolutely. Amen to that. You did ugly biscuits because I made those this week. Yes. Those were ugly. I'm just telling you. But now in the Facebook group, some other people made them and they looked a whole lot better than mine. So it's not impossible to make them look good. It's just impossible for me to make them look good. So, you know, if you see something I make that's ugly, just know in your mind that you can probably make it look a lot better than I did. And it's going to taste good. So hopefully. Just Jason, Keto, and more. Not familiar. Hello. Let's see. Yeah, that creamy is awesome. I'm telling you. Scrolling up, saw your question about radishes. I make potato salad. Yes. Yeah, you got to get those radishes done enough for the texture that you want if you're replacing potatoes with them. And Netgear is a new member of the channel. So Netgear, I really, really appreciate that. For those of you that don't know, it's $5 a month. Once I get to doing this full time, I'm gonna probably do just a members only live once a week. I'll do some shorts right now, maybe once, twice a month, something like that. But really, that's just you guys thanking, supporting the channel. And it's really means a lot to me when I see these because it does get expensive to do this stuff, and y'all's generosity really, really helps me out. So I appreciate that. And stuff like that will help me get to the next level where I'll be able to do more of this and hopefully get some good guests on here. And because I want to do these lives, I want to get some people that y'all want to see and, talk to, and hopefully bring a new perspective to some things. So I got some big plans for this channel in the future, and y'all's generosity really does help that. So I appreciate it. Hey there, Diana. Welcome. Thanks for never using stock photos. I'd rather have an idea of what it's supposed to look like. Yeah. And one, I don't know if she's on here or not, but she talks about that a good bit, about some of the stock photo stuff. Like, you watch a recipe and you could tell at the end there is no chance that that's what that recipe was. That is not an accurate photo of it. So I'd rather have a little bit of an uglier photo out there and it be real than show you something that looks extravagant, and I can't pull that off. So it's gonna be real. So I lost my place there. All right, let's see. There's a lot of comments in here tonight, y'all. Y'all are awesome. And Donna, $10 super chat. Donna, thank you so much. Donna is awesome. You were awesome, Donna. I really appreciate you. You do a lot of good work in here, putting up all the links and stuff for me, and I really, really appreciate it. Kathy, I agree with you. I don't care what it looks like as long as it's good, because it ain't gonna look good for long, no matter what it is. If I get a hold of it, the longest time I didn't want to eat anything on camera, and people were like, "If you don't take a bite of it, I guess it's no good." And I mean, some of my best recipes were my earliest ones, and they were good, but I guess there's just something about that, so I had to end up biting the bullet and eventually eating on the camera. But you see me eat for real, it's like Tasmanian devil. So it's hard for me to just take one bite and quit, like you have to do on these videos. But anyway, let's see. Does anyone order meat from Good Ranchers or any other you would recommend? Great question. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I hope she decides to do it too. And that's kind of an incomplete, that Keto for Beginners is kind of an incomplete series right now. I've probably got 4 or 5 more parts to do. At the end, I'm going to tie it all in together with something that's you'll be able to use my recipes. And it's a whole protocol that I'm working on, but I'm kind of building up to that. I just want to kind of build the foundation for people that might be brand new. Because my biggest fear, I had an email, and I'll put it out there, that people didn't want to be, they didn't want to know who they were, but I can tell you the gist of what they were saying was that they were making, like, they were just eating some of these recipes that I had, and like one week was like for dinner I had this keto mac and cheese, and then I had this green bean casserole, and those are kind of things that should be like a side, but they were kind of eating that thinking that was keto, because technically it is if you make it as a side, but you don't want to eat a whole, you don't want to eat a whole meal full of the keto mac and cheese. And I'm kind of like, well, I really need to go back and do what I should have done in the beginning, and kind of lay the groundwork for this, and where these recipes are helpful, where it can come in, where you can implement it into like a weekly diet and things like that. So that's what I'm working on now. And it's, so I'm glad it's helping. I hope it helps them as well. They're not as popular as my recipes, and they're just not going to be, but I really felt that was something I needed to do. So hope y'all understand that. And I appreciate those of you that watch them. I appreciate that. Let's see. Supposedly Shake and Steak brings in the frozen French fries, and they all have soybean oil on them. Yep, definitely is. That was what Dustin was talking about. They par cook them, and McDonald's used to do the same thing. I worked at McDonald's when I was in high school, and they come in frozen. They've already got the coating, and you just drop them in the oil. So it does, and I forgot how many ingredients they're up to in McDonald's fries right now, but it's a lot more than just potatoes and salt. Yes, turnips do work real well. There you go, Donna. It's a lot of good substitutes for potato. Yep. It will take a lot of time to get everything seed oil free. And then, like I said, you're still going to have some preservatives in that beef tallow that they use. I mean, as a big commercial restaurant operation, they can't change the beef tallow out every 3-4 times that they, I mean, you can stretch it further than that, but after a while, it just starts taking on some taste. And so they're always going to be using some kind of preservative in it. So that's just what it's going to be. But it's a whole lot better than seed oils, right? Stress is the worst. Got laid off in 2024. So much better. Stress was super high. Awesome. 3 sizes down that's a great job. Hey, you're probably already gone, but thank you for being here. I'm way behind on the comments, so I got to scroll down. But yeah, thank you. God bless you too. I appreciate you watching. I am in South Carolina. We had a steak and shake, but it looks like it didn't last. Man, I would think those places would be printing money. Oh, there you go. Okay, here we go. Had some of the beef off those trucks before. Mixed results. Some really good, some a total waste. So it's pretty much a crapshoot, like what I was thinking, huh? So I either take the chance and maybe be pleasantly surprised or extremely disappointed. But Dustin's first job was Steak and Shake. My first job was McDonald's. We didn't have a Steak and Shake down here. We still don't have one in our town. There's one a town over. Carrie, thank you so much. I was wondering where all those thumbs up were coming from. It's Carrie hitting that like button 1 trillion times. So I appreciate that. When a company decides to make meaningful changes, we have to remember how seed oils goes in the food industry. It's going to take a decade at minimum to get totally seed oil free. Yeah, if enough people care about it for a long enough period of time to make them stop. Ice cream with no machine, please. I don't want to buy any more appliances. Do you have any? Do you have an ice cream maker now? Because if you do, then that my ice cream recipe will work in any ice cream maker. The creamy is just super convenient, but you can make a bunch of it in there. And with that recipe, you can come back to it a week later and it's still soft like when you made it. So 60 years ago, my mom restricted my bread, pasta, potatoes, etc., and told me if I wanted seconds, I could have vegetables or protein. She's never heard of keto, ahead of her time. Well, that was a wise woman right there. But, you know, for a lot of people, if they grew up eating a certain way, and you can start, like if your grandparents or great grandparents didn't eat it, that's a good place to start. You know, if it wasn't around back then, and you know, the convenience products started coming along, and that's what really started this thing going downhill. But there's great wisdom in that. So if it's not something that people grew up with eating and they introduce it and they're like, oh, that's not good. I think that's a good thing. And that was definitely ahead of their time. I was restricted too. My foster mom was a Weight Watchers addict. She would lose weight and then gain it back because she would stop doing diet. Yep. Yeah. And it's an easy lifestyle. That's why I love, yeah. You do live keto, and it's, you know, it doesn't have to be restrictive. That's the cool thing about it. And I hope y'all can see by the recipes that I do that you really don't have to miss out on a lot of stuff. You just got to adapt it to being a little healthier. New members just joined Sam's for $25 is half price. If you join online, they don't issue you a card. You have to have the app on your phone. Yeah, so we've got the professional membership for our businesses. And so ours is a little bit higher, but yeah, I mean, we get free shipping if the stuff's not in stock locally. You know, you'd be amazed at the amount of olive oil we go through with my wife's soap business. I mean, it's crazy amounts. But that Sam saves us so much money overall. If you got one near you, I highly suggest it, because you'll probably save more than that on you know, the first couple trips. If it's $25. yeah, definitely check out that video, and especially coming up. There you go. If you don't want coffee, there's a coffee substitute. Sola bread. Now I've heard mixed reviews about that. I heard some people say it's really good, but I have heard a lot of people say it spikes their blood sugar, um, even non-type 2 diabetics. So that one's one that you'll just have to try out for yourself. Coffee, ice cream, bread. Oh, yes. Thank you. Oh, yep. Dustin says solar bread tastes good, but I don't think it's all that blood sugar friendly. Yep. So that's something you definitely will have to try out to see how that reacts with your body. Anyone notice lower ketones when sick? Same exact diet. Well, I haven't really checked my ketones in a while. I also haven't been sick in a while. So yeah, maybe somebody else could answer that down there. I'm trying to think of how that could possibly happen. Maybe, I mean, your body should produce the ketones the same way. I'm thinking, instead of putting the energy into fighting the sickness, but I have to think about that. But maybe somebody would know that it's measuring their ketones regularly and has been sick lately. My ketones are always low because my body uses them since I'm fat adapted. Yeah, and your body will. That's why I say, like, those ketone strips are good in the beginning because you're losing a lot of those when you pee. But once you're once you're in ketosis for a while, then your body's using them for energy and you don't release them. So, the ketone strips won't work anymore. That's why, like, Keto Mojo is such a good thing, that, like I mentioned in that video, so you can check it through the blood. Chaffles are a good alternative for bread. Dustin says he's home, put stuff away. Dustin will be live Sunday mornings at 7:30 Eastern. Yeah, and I try to get on there when I can. I have been sleeping past then and just getting ready for the camping trip and all that. I have not been on there in a while. But yeah, Dustin's on there bright and early on Sunday morning. So grab a cup of coffee and check that out. And the Keto Crusade, Sunday, March 23rd, 8 p.m. I'm excited for that too. I think Keto says January 15th, but the blood levels are lower and lower. Yeah, now that can happen, not necessarily just because you are sick. And I'm going to cover that in one of my Keto for Beginners videos too. But they can be lower and lower in your blood. So I wouldn't worry about that as much. Just kind of how you're feeling. If it depends on what your goals are, if you're trying to lose weight, or or your clothes fitting a little looser, if you're trying to fix the health condition, is it getting a little better, less inflammation, things like that. Because if you've been doing it and you've been eating the same and you were in ketosis and are in ketosis, if you're eating a little more meat heavy, that could happen sometimes. So there's a lot of variables that could be, but I'm going to cover that on one of those videos too. Okay, there you go. That corned beef doesn't say what the source is. Yep, there you go, Brian. Nailed it. And you don't have to have the Keto Mojo to do a blood glucose test. I mean, you can get a blood glucose kit at Walgreens. I had to get another one because we had one that died, because I don't really check ketones, but I like a lot to, if I'm trying a new, like, prepackaged product, I like to check my blood sugar before I eat, an hour afterwards, and then 2 hours afterwards. And that's not like to me, it's more accurate. A lot of people do the continuous glucose monitors, but studies are showing that the results on those are a little bit skewed now. It could be a little bit higher or a little bit lower depending on you, as to what it is. So it's not quite as, it doesn't show like a line, but you can kind of figure, if you were at this level here, then an hour after you were here, 2 hours after you were here, then it, you'll know where it's spiking or not. But those little kits at Walgreens are like $12. You get the kit, and you get a vial full of the little test strips that you put in. And so you don't necessarily have to have a Keto Mojo, but if you want to check your ketones, that's the best thing to get, because you can do ketones and blood with that. Yep, there you go. Yeah, I have heard that about the sardine fast too. Yeah, that could be completely normal there. But like I said, I haven't checked my own, but that could definitely happen. I don't remember really the mechanisms on what that is, but it's probably something with your body switching over to what it considers to be a priority. There we go. Walmart only has, so the beef gelatin may not have made it nationwide yet. Yeah, I would say you're not doing anything wrong. And let's see here. Any thoughts on cold chilled chicken versus water chilled with chlorine? I swear I've been noticing the extra strong bad taste of chlorine lately. Yeah, a lot of times the cheaper the chicken, the more they do that. And one way to make sure the USDA organic, I believe, or is it the other? So USDA organic is through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, but there's another, Oregon Tilth, I think is the name of it. That's another organic certifier. One of the two of them in organic, and I'll have to look it up. I don't remember right offhand. One of the two of them does not use the chlorine. It may be both of them now. They can't use that as a chill, but I'll definitely try to avoid the chlorine if you can. But again, get the best thing you can afford. Chicken with chlorine in it's a whole lot better than standard American diet anything. So I would just do the best you can, and organic's always better if you can afford it. Free range, pasture raised, as far as chicken goes, is best. But don't let anybody tell you that you have to have that to do keto, because it's not true. Using a tens unit. Yeah, we got a tens unit sitting in a drawer somewhere that we won on a trip one time. And I do have to do it every once in a while, because I'll get like, if I'm doing the pressure wash and I got my arm like this all day long, then I'll get a little bit of inflammation in my elbow, and so I'll throw that on there for a little bit, and it'll help me until it help me heal up a little bit. But just using your muscles is good for you anyway. But man, that elbow pain is rough when it does that. Let's see. There we go. I'm diabetic, all keto bread, all include spike my blood sugar bad. And I think that's going to be the general consensus with type 2. I know Donna would know about that too. Yep. Type 2 with HbA1c of 5.4, still with high insulin, get in trouble with total carbs, not just net. See, that's Lori. That's what I'm talking about. You're taking control of your health. You know exactly what works for you. Because I can't tell you. I can tell you the protocol that I think will work the best for most people, but you may have to make a little tweak in it. And so, we're doing this thing together. So if y'all ever have any questions or anything, think something needs tweaking, all my information, ways to contact me is down there. Facebook Messenger is probably the way I'm going to find it the fastest. I have been more active on Instagram now since I started doing more of the little reels and stuff, but still not, like on Instagram, like a lot of people are on Instagram. But yeah, y'all, anytime you get something, I'll be glad to help you try to tweak it. Our bodies are holistic, chemical, structural, and emotional. You take care of all three to be in homeostasis. Absolutely right. That's something I think has been missing for a while, that a lot of people don't touch on is the total body healing. It's not just diet; it's emotional, spiritual. There's a lot of aspects in there, and we'll be getting into that a little bit this year too. So, hope y'all will join me on those too. I think it's going to be good. I think it's definitely going to be fun, and I think it'll definitely help you a little bit as well. Let's see, and there we go. Net gear. Thank you so much. I saw that up top earlier, so I was talking about it, but definitely thank you for your support. Bake Believe is almost the same price as Nestle sugar-free chips. Yeah, it's just cleaner ingredients. Those are you talking about the Hershey ones? I think they got maltitol in them. That's the reason I don't use those. Maltitol is the one sweetener I don't really like, because of possible blood sugar issues. Xylitol is the other one because of the fact that if you got a pet in the house, it can be deadly to your pets. So you'll never hear me recommend xylitol on this channel. It's the occasional 2-hour insulin hunger response, which I'll never have diabetes, or never not have diabetes. Yes, I was going to say, hang on now, that sounds like you do have it. So yeah, I misread that. Yep. There's Jerry in the house again. So mother came type 2 in her 50s, had many strokes for the big one. I wish I knew all that. Now, yeah. There you go, Jerry. I'm going to get that. I'm going to make that recipe when I have time. I'm hoping to have some time this weekend. We went camping for a few days, and I have a short coming out. I made, Stacy actually made some goulash, my wife. So you see the pink fingernails in there. Her name's Stacy. So she doesn't want to be, she's a huge part of the channel because she has to taste, when I make bad recipes and be like, oh man, no, that's, you need this or whatever. So she's a huge part of all these recipes, but you probably won't see her in any for at least a while. I think I'll be able to talk her into it one day, but you'll see her nails in there sometimes. But yeah. So anyway, don't know where I was going with that, except for we're going to try to make some of this stuff this weekend. So, the goulash. So we made this goulash while we were camping. So I'm going to do a short on that in the next day or two. It's easy to make. I use that Kaizen pasta. So I'm really dying for somebody with type 2 diabetes to let me know about that. The Kaizen, the lupin flour, particularly those 2 grams of net carbs. That's the one I'm really interested in. The other ones I'm not getting anyway because it's too much. I don't like the ingredients as much. So that's the one I'm really hopeful for, but haven't had anybody test that one yet. So, oh yeah. Yeah, you definitely need to do that. That stuff's good. There's Donna. Thank you so much. All right, scrolling down here. Let's see if we got any questions in here. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, I appreciate all the support, all the donations, and y'all supporting the channel, but definitely not something you have to do. I mean, I'm here. I want to help. But yeah, sharing the videos, liking the videos, watching the videos all the way through, that helps me. Just trying to spread the word, and anybody you think these videos might help, just share it, and I appreciate that. Let's see. No. I don't know if you saw the mukbang guy that just died at 24 years old with metabolic diseases, and uh, he had he had tried to, and then those videos are just people basically just eating a ton of food, and obviously unhealthy, obese, morbidly obese, and I guess lately he had been saying he was going to cut down on salt, and unfortunately passed away at 24 years old. So super sad, and what a terrible trend right now to do videos like that. But and I know you're joking about that, Jerry, and I but I I just think that's sickening to say that, for people to be okay with that and watch that for entertainment, well, there's so many people out here dying like that. Um, really, really sucks. I just hate it. But such is life. I ain't gonna like everything. Um, let's see. There you go. 14 ingredients. I knew it. Yep. They deodorize the beef tallow. Yep. Check Popeyes. They're mixing palm oil beef tallow. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's not going to be, other than a local restaurant, you're not going to find any of these restaurants, as great as the news sounds. You're not going to find any that either don't deodorize them. I mean, you really would have to if you're a commercial operation, so that everything is the same every time. Or they're going to use a preservative in there so that they can reuse the oil over and over, or use the tallow over and over. I mean, it's just have to. Seriously considering moving to South Carolina in February, just can't figure out where. Well, I will tell you, I mean, there's really, other than Columbia, I am not a fan of Columbia. Other than that, there's so many good places in South Carolina you can move to. It's just a matter if you want to be closer to the mountains, closer to the beach, or if you want to kind of be in the middle. I'm kind of either way. I'm 2 hours to the mountains and 3 hours to the beach, so it's pretty good. There you go. Oh yeah, North Carolina. Yep. Nita's up there hitting the bourbon or something. That's okay, Nita. I'm glad you're here. Probably more fun with some bourbon. I don't know. I got my electrolytes tonight. Let's see. Oh yeah, and there's our soap business right there. So this is her slower time and my busier time, and then we switch in the winter. She's super busy, I'm super slow, and that's when I got a chance to do a lot more videos and stuff, and in the midst of helping her, and we just have a good time. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there was research back in. I'm trying to find a copy of this book. A guy named Banting, and some of you may remember the Banting diet. That was one of the things, but he had a book back in the 1800s, 1870s, if I remember right. It was called A Letter to Address Corpulence, and so corpulence was their word for morbidly obese back then. And just the things involved in it, but so yeah, that was known a long time ago, before now. So Kathy, when I was growing up, we only had something sweet on the weekends, and see, that's the difference. When somebody says like such and such runs in my family, a lot of times what runs in the family is the habits and the food patterns that you get into. Like with us, we had dessert. Other than breakfast, we had dessert after lunch, and we had dessert after dinner. And that was just a part of it. And that's why, most of the families got high triglycerides. I mean, my mom's triglycerides got up to 1,500 one time. Mine were up over 900 one time. I'm sure they were higher than that. But, I mean, I didn't even know you could have 1,500. But we were just looking through some of her old paperwork the other day. She's like, oh, this is when I went in the hospital one time. They admitted me for my heart. and my triglyceride, it was 1,500. So let's see. Oh, here we go. Ketones dropped when I was sick, but also my glucose went up. Did research your glucose rises to have energy to fight the virus. So the liver is producing more through. No, what is it? Yeah, so your glucose rises to have energy to fight the virus. So gluconeogenesis happens there for that. Hey, Deb, welcome. About 10 minutes behind on comments. I'm going to scroll down through here real quick. We only got 20 likes on the video. So, yeah, y'all definitely give me some likes on there. Sweet. That was nice. Comfrey cayenne and ginger salve for your elbow pain. I get the herbs and infuse the oils and make the salve. Yeah, I make a lot of them. Unfortunately, the thing with this is I got to try to. I do it like right in the morning before I go do a job. It's usually over in like a day. It's like there's always that job where you're just standing here like this, spraying, and you're holding it, and it's just tough on the just like tennis elbow, pretty much. But the inflammation's usually gone after the first day. It's more the muscles, and that all kind of tightens up. It sounds like a good balm though. I'll be fasting for the next 2 days. Any advice of what I can drink to help with any stomach pain? I would recommend a ginger tea. Just getting some ginger root. Just take the outer layer off, vegetable peeler, chop it into pieces. You can mince it up if you want, and have about a 2-inch piece of it. Chop it up as best you can. Throw it in some boiling water. Put a coaster or a plate over the top of it, and just let it steep. Or if you got a tea infusion cup that's got a little lid on it, just let it sit in there and steep for 10, 15, even 20 minutes. And then strain it and drink that, and that should help your stomach on that. And LG, I'm going to have to look that up. I believe that is the case. It's either the USDA organic or the Oregon Tilth organic, and it may be both now, but I'll have to look that up. As well as I'm pretty sure. Well, I know the Aldi free range or the free range ones. Their free range chicken does not have chlorine. Let's see. Oh, and that's that one. That is so, yeah. Let's see. Whew. Let's see. Yeah, I'd stick with that ginger. Oh yeah. Gutenberg Press. Yeah, I want to try to have a copy of it, a physical copy of it, just for my collection of. Been trying to collect some older keto and low carb type stuff for a project that I want to come up with in the future. Yes, turn the food pyramid upside down. Let's do that. Thanks, Donna. 72 likes now? That is great. Liz, have a good evening. You're probably already gone by the time I got to your comment, but I hope you have a great evening. Very happy to say I have no calcium buildup on the pool this year. I put a filter on the hose and did not use the solar cover. Oh, I am only dreading opening my pool this year. I dread that every year, though. What am I talking about? That's always the worst. Uh, and then Donna dropped in here a good link on this. Let me see if I can. I can't get to it, but yeah, y'all check that out too. And if y'all have got any more questions, please drop them in here. I'll go over this again. Keto Simple. Jesus Save Me, $3, $4.99 super sticker. Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate that. Also available on Gutenberg Press, Fanny's Farmer's Cookbook for the Sick and Convalescent. Entire chapter for diabetes. Again, I've got an old manuscript, basically. I'm going to say it's a manuscript about a diabetes cure from, I believe, I want to say it was whenever they first decided that diabetes was a thing. The Europeans already knew how to fix it because they knew what caused it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, but that's pretty cool. Hello from North Carolina. I love your recipe. So thankful for your channel. Do you ever have issues with getting egg white protein powder to whip up to stiff peaks? The egg white protein powder issue with a lot of things right now is because a lot of the protein powders have started adding their egg white proteins have started adding sunflower lecithin to them. And so if you see anything in the ingredients list other than egg white protein or egg whites, chances are good you're not going to get them to whip up as good. If they got the sunflower lecithin, you're definitely not. So I don't use as much egg white protein as some people do, but that is the issue with those. So just make sure if you're ever wanting to use egg white powder to whip up, make sure it doesn't have any extra ingredients on it, which it's kind of becoming harder and harder to find that because a lot of people are adding sunflower lecithin or something like that into them. But you need the pure thing. And the same thing, a lot of people say with egg whites, the cartons of egg whites, they have a hard time getting them to whip up. And one thing you can do with that is just put a little cream of tartar in there. And I've used the egg whites from Aldi. And I'm talking store brands because I don't ever really buy name brand stuff that's the same as what I can get in the store brand. So the egg whites from Aldi, the egg whites from Walmart, Food Lion, Ingles, and all of them have done fine with a little bit of cream of tartar in there. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Donna. I'm going to check that out then. Because I'd like to have that just for my little collection. I got the books you see back here are about, I would say 100th of my my book. I mean, I read. I'm a reader, and that's why I get into the research and things like that. So, so these books back here, things I keep in here to quick reference. The rest of them I have to go dig them out of the other bookcases and stuff. So, matter of fact, when my son was young, we had a bonus room above the garage, which is now her workshop, which is where we run our soap business out of. And we had turned it. It was a big bonus room, and when he was little, it was probably more for me. But anyway, I want to put in I put it bookcases all the way across half the room, and I had a door that swung open just like you see on like Scooby-Doo, where like part of it opens up and you got a whole other room inside there. And I had the bookcases from floor to ceiling, and then he could go in there. And then he got a little older, decided he just wanted more room instead of, having a cool place to go. So we ended up tearing that down. But that was cool for a while. I got some pictures of it still anyway. Let's see. Yep, just bought the Now brand. Yeah, and if you got it on Amazon, you could send it back. Now was one of the best ones you could get because it was one of the cheapest for the longest time. And now they went and messed it up. And so, yeah, you could still send it back on Amazon if Now still has the. a lot of them have changed the rules now where food items you can't return. But with something like that, where you've been using it, a lot of the bigger companies don't have that policy, but they may have adopted that now. And I'm just not sure about that. Stephanie, Keto Chow. What Keto Chow is a meal powder. And you don't have to be keto to do it, but it has all the stuff that you need on the keto diet. It's got about 25 grams of protein in it. You add your own fat based on how many calories you eat per day. So like when I make a keto chow, I'm using six tablespoons of, or excuse me, 6 tablespoons, 6 ounces, 5 to 6 ounces of heavy cream. But you can put in whatever, you do to fit your macros if you're counting like that. But it's got electrolytes in it. It's got vitamins and minerals in it. So basically, I use it when I'm on the go. Like now, my busy time of year are our shows and stuff in the winter time. And just when I don't feel like cooking anything or making anything, you throw together a keto chow and you get a complete meal that'll last you until your next meal. And they use good ingredients. That's the reason I like them so much. There's a controversy a few months back you may or may not have heard of, where one of the brands of electrolytes was kind of hiding what they put in the drinks. And they said it was this amount and ended up being a lot more. And Keto Chow is just totally transparent about what they do. There's a rule for labeling in the United States where if it's, say it's, you've got heavy cream is a perfect example, because heavy cream has got carbs in it. So whatever the serving size in, you can just figure 1 gram of carbs per whatever the serving size is. But if it's 0.5 grams or less, they can round it down and say 0. So that's why you see on your heavy creams, they're going to manipulate that serving size to get it down to where they can say, oh, it's 0 carb. And I thought it was odd the first time before I kind of understood why they were doing it. The first pack of keto chow I ever bought was butterscotch. And I just ordered a couple packs just to try it out. And one of the people that watches the channel wanted me to do a recipe on it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll do a recipe on it. So I ordered it and I got it. I'm looking at the pack, and like on the front of the pack, it says like 2.6 grams of total carbs. I'm like, well, that's weird. Why are they putting a decimal in there? And then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh, it's because they're trying to be transparent. So great company. I at the beginning of the year, one of the things I decided I want to do this year was get their My Chow surprise box, because I started using it more and more, drinking it and in recipes. And so I kind of challenged myself that once a month I'm gonna get that box, and then whatever comes in that box, the rest of them I'll obviously drink and use, but then I'm gonna make a recipe with one of the flavors of keto chow, whatever. You just don't know, it's a surprise. So that makes it a cheaper price for you too, because you don't know what you're getting. You're not ordering exactly what you want. It's just a surprise every month. So you get a big bag. So you get 30 total servings in there, including that big bag. So last month I made a raspberry cheesecake out of it. I made a banana pudding out of it. So kind of excited to get the box this month. But that was a long answer to a short question, but I hope that helps. Awesome. Cookbook collectors in the house. Yeah, I've got a bunch of old cookbooks that are falling apart from like the 1800s, and yeah, I'm a book fanatic too. I love to read and learn things. So let's see. Yep, there you go. Donna, I have seen photo evidence of that. I have not seen it in person, but I can vouch that you have a lot of cookbooks. I have seen a picture of it. Yeah, that is a great description of that, isn't it? Yeah, and I think the original was like a 10 or 12 page book. I can't remember. Um, yeah, it's not very long. Back then, I guess it was, the way they bound it and everything like that. I've seen the original. Um, I saw like an original book copy, and so I think it's there's not much to it, but I think it was just the way it was packaged back then. It was like a little tiny book. So oh yeah, there you go. Well, y'all, I have thoroughly enjoyed this. I appreciate y'all being here tonight. I want to do one thing before we go, though. I got to go through my comments. I got 3 comments I want to share with y'all. If you're still here this long, then you're going to enjoy this. So let me go to this, go to share. Let's go to this here. Comment number 1. I have no idea. I have no idea. I didn't mention Utah in this video. Where this came from, I don't know. Pioneers went through Utah. Many stayed, and only a few left Utah. Look up your history. Huh? I'm not sure. Not sure about that yet. I'm definitely not. I'm not going to become a Utah history buff or try to figure all that out. Doesn't really matter to me. But thanks for the comment. This was on the fat bomb recipes, which I hope some of y'all have tried. Fat people looking for a reason to have their cake bad habit and eat it too. Sorry. Aren't you supposed to be burning your own fat and not consuming more? Will enabling the habit help you change? Sorry. So yeah, I just watch the Keto for Beginners. Obviously, they don't understand keto or the macros involved in that or anything, sadly. But I guess the fact that they commented on this video just means it's kind of spreading to more and more people, that don't really understand keto. So, and my favorite chaffle recipe. This chaffle recipe is awesome. I'm telling you, if you haven't tried it, try the new chaffle recipe. It's soft. Wes over at Highfalutin Low Carb tried it out. He loved it, which is always, this is my 3rd recipe he's done, and I'm freaking nervous every time. I know I always test this stuff to make sure it's going to be good, but you never know. But he loved it. So sorry to update you on the recipe with a negative report. Now we're using, like I said earlier, we're going to use low moisture, part skim to get the correct texture for these. All right. I was poisoned by the cheese used on these. I'm a walking laboratory. I ate clean, fresh food. After eating these, Charles, I was sick for 2 days, still recovering. Not a good recipe. I'm not sure who Charles is, but they might have been new to the channel too. But yeah, maybe the eggs or cheese were old. I have no idea. Not sure about that. But anyway, there we go. There's some great comments there. I always love that. I always love it. There's some good comments come in every day. If I had time, and maybe the next live I do, I'll try to come up with 10 or 12 of them, because I get a plethora every day of some just some really good stuff like that. That makes no sense. So anyway, thank you, Jerry. The Donner Party. Goodness gracious. Anyway, y'all, listen, I have completely enjoyed this tonight. It's so good to be back. Like I said, I've got to finish up that Keto for Beginners series. It's just something that's been on my heart that I feel like I need to do. So I'm going to be live on here with Dustin and Chris in 10 days. So mark your calendars for the 23rd, 8 p.m. Keto Crusade. So, other than that, I'm going to try to finish up this other series, and then I'll be back live and when I can. But I really want to finish that series up and Everybody does forget about Utah. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate our community. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you back at least in 10 days live, but I'll be having some shorts. Watch that French fry video on Saturday. You're going to love it. I have my first sponsor that I'm really picky about who I will work with, as you know, seeing some of the things that have come up in the past few months, you'll know why. But I've really found a great product that I love. My first sponsorship, so I'm kind of proud about that. And you know, hopefully, if it's something you think will help you, you get it, because you know, like old Wes over at High Flute and Low Carb says, it's, you know, the sponsorships can help the channel stay alive. So you know, but it's always going to be stuff that I believe in, like the keto chow or whatever. But can't talk about it yet. But anyway, our video for that will be coming out soon with like what I eat in a day type stuff. So and then next Thursday be more of the Keto for Beginners series. So listen, thank y'all so much. Appreciate you being here. God bless you. And just remember that, you know, you can get healthy one forkful at a time. So it's a decision every time you eat. So make the right decisions. I know y'all got this. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon.